Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. Today we're going to do an unboxing video. Today we have for you Smolensk, Barbarossa Derailed. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first unboxing video I have done of an Operational Combat Series game. There was a filmed Beyond the Rhine unboxing that did not get posted because there were problems with the video. This is the Operational Combat Series from The Gamers and Multi-Man Publishing, series designer Dean Essig, and game designer Hans Kischel. I have played this, so that's also unusual. It is, presuming you like OCS, this is terrific. It is, we'll get into the comments, comments. Please, put in some comments. We get into the contents. This is like the standard 1.5, I don't want to say standard, but 1.5-ish inches box that Multi-Man uses quite a bit for their less huge games. So, in the box, we have the little card, we have some errata, Smolensk errata clarifications. Okay, we don't need to know that right now. Okay, so we have something unusual here. We have a full color game-specific rulebook. I'm not 100% sure that was necessary, but it's here, and that's nice. So what we have here is the game-specific rules. It's 24 pages. It's on pretty thick matte paper. I prefer matte paper, less glare. Less glare is always good. We got the little list of things that come in the box. We got some dice, of course. We have some counter sheets. So here's I don't know how many counter sheets are in this thing, because when I got to it, my buddy's copy was already punched. So we'll find out right now. We have an Axis Arrivals card, which appears to be one double-sided card. Now, one of the interesting things about this is it's part of Operation Barbarossa. So it is 1941. It is I forget the exact dates involved, but it is a pretty short amount of time. There's about 2 months, as I recall. We'll find out when we get to the game specific. We've already passed that. We'll get to it in a minute. All right, so here's a player's aid card with terrain effects and some boxes for Luftwaffe, dead pile, and supply cache. This is the game that brought supply caches into the OCS rules. Here is a Soviet Arrivals card. Again, same type of deal. It's one-sided front and back. Here's a Soviet display. Here's the traditional Multi-Man Publishing blank sheet of paper included for unknown reasons. Presumably because they wish to do away with trees. And here's the map. This is it. It's one map. That is one of the things that is interesting about Smolensk. Now, before you say to yourself, oh my, here's a one-map OCS game. This would be a great introductory game. It is, but I would not recommend trying to teach yourself OCS in this game. It is one map. The counter density is relatively low, but it's not low particularly. And you do kind of need to understand all of the different buttons of OCS supply system that you will need to push to make the Germans in particular work. Now, the great news is that if you screw it up, you can start over again without a ton of trouble. So, battles in and around Smolensk. And essentially, the scenario is that the Germans start over here. This is all Soviet stuff. And the Germans want to push as far as they can in this direction. And if they can manage to take and hold Smolensk and a couple of these cities over here, they will win the game. But the Soviets will get opportunities to not only counterattack locally, but launch significant counterattack in the game as well. It's a lot of fun. It's a great OCS game. I think it showcases the strengths and things that are interesting about OCS very, very well. So we have 2 additional counter sheets and a player aid card. So another interesting thing about Smolensk is that it is the first game with the OCS version 4.3 rules. There's, I think, one significant rules addition in 4.3, which is the supply cache rules. The charts have been reorganized, but as far as I'm aware, there are no actual differences or changes here. So we got that. We got 2 more counter sheets, a sheet of Germans, sheet of OCS 4.2 markers, which will go in my OCS markers box. Once they're punched and clipped, of course. So the stock on this feels pretty thick. It's white core stock, but I think this is relatively traditional MMP stock, actually. Series Rules 4.3. This is the standard OCS rules. So I'm clear, so you don't watch this video and think this person is a neutral observer. I like OCS and I play quite a bit of it. Part of that's because we have a lot of opportunities to play OCS here in Columbus, Ohio. So standard series rules. You can download this stuff from Gamers Archive. Here is another copy of the charts and tables. This is on like a not particularly cardstocky cardstock. It's like, if it's cardstock, it's super duper light. It's barely heavier than actual paper. But you can download these too. We have another, okay, so we have some units, mostly air units, and looks like some errata counters for other OCS games, and some more generic markers, specifically step losses and supply. Plus some trucks and some other stuff. So what we got really here is one sheet of counters, say 1.5 sheet of markers, and then about 2.5 sheets of units. So that's not a tiny game, right? That's not a tiny game or a game that's not dense. If you see this setup, and you can find pictures of it set up on Board Game Geek, you'll see it's pretty dense. The unit density is relatively high, maybe not as high as some other OCS games, but there's still a lot of units on the map. The stacks are relatively high. If that's a problem for you, I would not necessarily steer you toward OCS, with the possible exceptions of Reluctant Enemies, Sicily 2, and Tunisia 2 maybe. Smolensk OCS. This is game number 17 in the Operational Combat series. So obviously I'm a fan. We play a lot of it over here. We've got guys warming up for a convention game pretty soon with, not this one, Baltic Gap, but actually this would be a great OCS warm-up game. There's a lot to like here. In Smolensk, it's a pretty compact situation. It is all on one map. It is relatively quick to play. We played once a week and we finished it in about a month. So it's not something that you need to leave set up on your table for a million years to play, but it provides a really satisfactory, and satisfying is the word I'm looking for, OCS experience in this little box, and it's pretty reasonably priced as well. So I recommend Smolensk as a moderately experienced OCS game. If you're a total newbie, maybe you really probably need to find a coach. I think that Reluctant Enemies is out of print. Tunisia 2 should still be in print. That's probably your best learning game that's in print right now for OCS. But there's a lot of resources on OCS to teach you OCS on the internet as well. So check those out. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have questions, or if there's something you would like me to see or a question you would like me to answer, please mention it in the comments below. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so, and I will see you next time.